Well, like I say, like she just called them over there. She was just wanting me to get out the house, and I was trying. All I was trying to do was get all my stuff until I was just telling her, just let me get my stuff and take me home. She was calling her moms to come get me, but in the midst of that, like I say, all her sisters and stuff, her two sisters come running up on me, grabbing hammers and knives against me. So I'm just like, man, I'm just like, I'm trying to get out the house, but they blocking me in the house. I got my bags in my hand. I'm trying to go. They telling me they gonna do me this, they gonna do this to me and stuff. So I'm just like, man, just let me out, just let me go. Eventually I got out the house, and then all of a sudden I ain't hear nothing else about it. But later on in life, all I know, I got a warrant for a battery charge.
Good morning, Mr. Langford. So you wanted to, well, first let's start at the beginning. You pled guilty to failing to report since September of 23. You were released, what, in April of 23? Why didn't you report to the parole office?
I really just had a lot of things going in my life. I just kind of got off track. Was just trying to get back right. I admit I violated my conditions. I failed at reporting to it.
Yeah. But, you know, what's confusing to me is you're classified as a third offender. You've obviously been on supervision before. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, so you pled guilty to that one. So let's talk about the criminal mischief and the battery of a dating partner. Tell us what happened to the battery during the Miss Minifield.
It was nothing that really happened. It was nothing like there was no type of altercation. It was just, it was her mom and us. So they really just came over there. They really didn't like me and called the people on me. And that was it. Like I did nothing to her, never harmed her, none of that.
She says you hit her in the face.
Nah, I didn't do anything like that because I read in the report, I saw the report. They say I had all type of knives and hammers and stuff, and that wasn't even it. Like if anybody should have been getting arrested, it should have been her. It should have been her and her family members that should have been arrested. The ones that came over there and was trying to harm me.
Well, tell us what happened.
Well, like I say, like she just called them over there. She was just wanting me to get out the house, and all I was trying to do was get all my stuff until I was just telling her, just let me get my stuff and take me home. She was calling her moms to come get me. But in the midst of that, like I say, all her sisters and stuff, her two sisters come running up on me, grabbing hammers and knives against me. So I'm just like, man, I'm just like, I'm trying to get out the house, but they blocking me in the house. I got my bags in my hand. I'm trying to go. They telling me they gonna do me this, they gonna do this to me and stuff. So I'm just like, man, just let me out, just let me go. Eventually I got out the house, and then all of a sudden, I ain't hear nothing else about it. But later on in life, all I know, I got a warrant for a battery charge. Like I ain't touch her or anything. Like I did not touch Azanika Minifield.
Well, let's talk about, you were on bond at the time for what?
I said cocaine possession.
So in simple criminal damage?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. And what happened with that?
Like, what do you mean by that?
Tell us about that incident.
Which one? Like, I don't understand. Like, I just got pulled over. I just got pulled over, and I had a little drug problem going on. That was it. Like in the criminal damage, it was nothing really. It was nothing really.
Well, I mean, what was it?
It was just a little bleach on the clothes. That was it.
Whose clothes?
Azanika Minifield.
So that involved her as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And tell us why you were behind on your fees.
I really had lost my job. So that was the case of that. And then I was trying to take care of my home. I was still helping out with the house and still trying to take care of my kids. So that was all that was.
All right. Well, given why, you've been on supervision before, you're a third felony offender, you pled guilty in court to um, criminal mischief, which is a violation of condition number 4, any criminal activity. Tell us why you think we shouldn't revoke you.
Man, I feel like I'm a good man. I got kids I have to raise. Like I could get out. I could do classes. Got a job waiting on me. My brother's a shift lead at the graphic packaging. Like it wouldn't be nothing for me to go report. It would be like I got my mind right. Honestly, like I didn't got back on track. Like I ain't got no drug habit or anything. I constantly get drug tested if I have to. Flowers, just please reinstate me. Let me get back out to my family and raise my kids. That'll be thankful. I'll be real thankful for that.
So when were you, how long you been in jail?
I've been in jail 5 months.
And when do you get off paper?
November 13th, 2025.
All right. Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Prater, you have any questions?
Questions?
I have no questions either. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, you'll go first.
Yes, Mr. Langford, I hear what you're saying, but I do find you admitted to violating condition number 2. You pled guilty in court to criminal activity, which is a violation of condition number 4. My vote today is going to be to revoke your parole. I think you're a really good candidate for work release, though. I would like to make that recommendation to help you do something to get on your feet before you get out of jail. Good luck to you, sir.
Prater?
Yes, I vote to revoke. Same reasons.
Yes, I also concur with my colleagues. I vote to revoke finding in violation of conditions number 2, 4, and 10. Good luck to you, sir. We're gonna make that recommendation that you go to work release, so maybe we can put a little money in your pocket before you get back out there and see what happens. So we'll be closing out at Washita at 9:30.
Excuse me.
These parole revocation hearings are almost like a broken record. Now, we don't have information on what he was initially locked up for. He does have a long history of crimes that Richard was able to find, but I thought that I would go through some information that's interesting about the parole revocation process and the legislation. Because as you had heard, he was already on bond, right, for possession, but he wasn't revoked. So you might be asking, well, how is it that he wasn't revoked for possession? Another question you might ask is, how come he wasn't, if they dropped all the charges to misdemeanors or whatever, how come he's even being revoked for that? But the bottom line is that the language of the parole revocation process is you can't be involved in any criminal activity. It's purposely left vague like that. The parole board has the superpower to revoke if you're involved in any criminal activity. And we see over and over and over again where those who go through the process believe that they can plead down their initial crime with the DA and or have the charges dropped and get away with it. It's just not the case. We see attorneys give really incorrect advice, wrong advice to their clients over and over and over again, saying, don't worry, you won't get revoked. It's not a felony. It's just a misdemeanor. And that's just wrong. This is a classic case. Oh, it wasn't me beating on, it was her beating on me. She should go to prison. I think the most standout-ish thing to me, though, if you want to believe him that it was her, that it was, he's the innocent one, if you want to choose to believe that, keep in mind that the first thing he did, the first charge that he is charged with is not reporting. He gets out of prison. He has to report to his parole officer. This is in his best interest. This is the best thing that he can do. And as Ms. Renatza said, this isn't your first trip, on the pony ride. Like you've been through this. This is 3 times. You can't even make the mistake as if you never done, which we've seen. You never done this before. You didn't know. I mean, his excuse is, I had a lot going on at that time in my life. You're too busy. You have too much going on to do what you need to do to stay out of prison by reporting. So you know that what's going to happen is that you're going to have nothing going on because you're going to get locked up. And it's like, where's the self-preservation or common sense? You can't feel bad. And on top of all of that, they're offering to give him work release. And for those of you who are curious about work release, and we have seen people in Louisiana making over 120K a year on work release, making over 100, I think 40 or 50K. Now that's unique. Granted, if you're working offshore at a high skill position, you can make that much. And by the way, what that means is you're basically free. Part of what you have to do is come back once a month, I think, and spend a weekend in prison once a month. It's not a bad gig. And we have seen others on work release that make decent money, not that much, but 50, 60, 70K a year. Now they do have to pay their room and board. The prison does charge them a lot of money, but once you get above a certain threshold, you actually can pocket away a lot of cash. And he didn't seem to appreciate that at all, being gifted that opportunity. It's rare that we see those get sent to work release. So the board was being kind to him, I think. But let's just look over this legislation here. So they're talking about the parole revocation conditions. Now, okay, this will require 2 of 3 votes from a 3-member panel. So we'll go over. So when they mentioned the bond, what happened was that when the judge sets bond, so he was on bond, right? For a new offense for the parolee, the Department of Public Safety and Correction Division, Probation and Parole, and the Committee of Parole must be notified within 3 business days. So they were notified about his initial charge with possession, and they chose not to revoke him. So they let him go. They gave him another chance. Keep that in mind as well. This is the second time, which is part where where by law they have to revoke him, which is for domestic violence, which is what he committed against her. Hold on one second. Here it is. Any criminal act that is in violation of a protective order issued against the offender or protected family member, a household member, as defined by, or a dating partner. So, that's what he fell under. And that is something that they take seriously, less than the possession charge. So you might argue, hey, that's, if they're really trying to give him a chance. Anyways, we see a lot of these. If you want to see more, there's a playlist, parole revocation playlist, and you'll see that there's a trend. There is a trend, unfortunately and sadly, of those that are committing DV against their partners. We see it over and over and over again. And we also see the partner come in and say that they made it up over and over and over again. And it's a big problem. And it's a big problem that we see repeat itself over and over and over again. With that, I'll let you go.